Well, then, let us begin at the only place where truth may be proved, your own consciousness. I ask you now, without referring to your pulse, your breath, your brain, your history, or even your name, can you prove you are alive right now? Not by holding up a hand or tracing a family tree, not by a certificate, nor by the tale of yesterday's successes or griefs. Can you prove it? If I say, show me life, will you point to flesh? If I say, demonstrate being, will you tap a chest? No, no. For the very moment you point to a thing, you have moved away from the knower of the thing. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know, not analyze, not parade evidence, but know. Perhaps you have been trying to prove the wrong thing. Perhaps life is not a bodily condition, not a set of measurable vibrations in a nerve field, not a tally of inhalations and exhalations. Perhaps life is the nature of awareness itself, the very I that now hears these words. When you say, I am, are you pointing to a place? Are you confining it to a rib cage or a skull? No surgeon has ever yet found any me inside of a body. When I say I, how will you localize that? Is it here behind the eyes? Or is it in the heartbeat? Or is it in the toe? No. No, I am not in the physical. To be absent from the body and to be present with the Lord. If the I, that is awareness, is the life, then it is not proved by parts, it is self-evidenced by presence. So let us dare further. If the body stopped, if the organs that you have trusted as your aliveness ceased, their motions, would I stop? Or would the body stop appearing to I? Which is the witness and which is the witnessed? The body changes from infancy to maturity to age. The I does not age. The body sleeps and wakes. The I remains the aware witness even in the interval before dream rises. Who is it that knows waking and sleeping? Who is it that says, I slept well? That knower is not asleep. The kingdom of God is within you, not within tissue or time, but within the consciousness that knows tissue and time. Now understand me, this is not a debate to win. This is a door to walk through in your own consciousness. I am not here to argue matter into spirit or to dazzle with syllogisms. I am merely the instrument. God is the actor, and the voice within your own being is the only witness that can satisfy you. If you cannot prove life by pointing to matter, then you are compelled gently, irresistibly, to look at what knows matter. You are driven, as by grace, to the threshold of silence where proof is not achieved, but received. I and my Father are one, not two and not distant, not joined by effort, but one, and this oneness is recognized in quiet, not constructed by thought. Therefore, the method is simple and it is immediate. We will not tinker with the body to find God. We will not adjust breath or count the heart or massage the spine to coax forth life. We will enter the stillness that precedes all signs and wonders. We will be receptive without agenda, without demand, without fear. In that receptivity, life does not become proven. Life proves itself as the very awareness that is hearing, seeing, and being now. If the thought arises, but I need evidence, let the answer be still. If the whisper comes, where is this I? Answer only with silence and the soft remembrance. In him we live and move and have our being. This is not an attainment. It is a recognition. And if you will accept the dare prove you are alive without pointing to your body, you will find that you have not lost anything at all. You have found the one that never began and cannot end. Begin here and let grace carry you the rest of the way. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. When I say I, where is that? Now be honest with your own awareness. Is it here behind the eyes, or is it down in the chest, or tucked away in the left ear? Is it in the hand that rises, or in the foot that presses the floor? No, no. The moment you point, you have already stepped outside the pointer. The instant you name a place, you have named a thing, and whatever can be named is only an appearance in the field of knowing. The life is more than meat, and the body is more than raiment. If the life is more, where is the more? It is not in the seam of the garment, and it is not in the stitch of the muscle. Observe it now. A warmth comes to the cheek, there is the sensation. A thought crosses like a small bird, there is the image. A memory rises of yesterday's laughter, there is the feeling. But who notices the warmth without becoming warmness itself? Who sees the thought without being measured by its length or color? Who tastes the memory and remains untasted? The witness of sensation is not a sensation. The knower of thought is not a thought. The feeler of feeling is not a feeling. Anything you can point to is not the eye that is pointing. We look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen, not as a denial of the seen, but as a recognition that the seer himself is unseen. Now here is the trap. Because a sensation reports as here or there, we imagine the reporter must be living here or there. Because a rush of breath seems in the chest, we place the eye in the chest. Because a pain seems in the head, we plant the flag of eye in the head. No, no, that is confusion. The location of an experience is not the location of the experiencer. The rainbow is over the hill, yes, but the eye itself is not stretched across the sky, and even that eye is only a seen thing in a mirror. Who is it that knows the eye? The kingdom of God is within you, but not within tissue or time, within knowing. Within means within consciousness, not within cartilage. Within means the center that has no circumference. Test it. Close the eyes, if you like. Notice the hum in the hand. Take the label hand away in thought and let only the hum remain. The hum changes, it brightens, it dims, it moves, it is gone. The knower did not brighten, did not dim, did not move, did not go. Feel a pulse in the temple. Withdraw the word temple. Let there be only the rhythm. The rhythm alters. The knower did not alter. Let a picture of your body come to mind, posture, height, the way the coat falls. See how the picture sits like a cloud in a wide sky. Then let the picture go, and the sky remains. Whither shall I go from thy spirit? Or whither shall I flee from thy presence? There is no line where awareness stops and a wall begins. Find its edge if you can. Find the back of it if you can. No, you will not, because there is none to be found. I am not in the physical, not as poetry, not as escape, but as simple fact to be discovered in your own quiet looking. Do you see what has been done to us by habit? We have tried to stuff infinity into a rib cage and then wondered at our shortness of breath. We have mistaken a broadcast for the location of the studio. We have heard a hymn through a little speaker and decided the choir must live in the box. No. The voice may sound here, but the singer is not confined to the sounding. Your spiritual you isn't confined to the material body. You can't leave it because you aren't in it and you never have been in it. Experiences rise and set in the one that does not rise or set. Objects arrive at the door of knowing and depart by the same door. The door does not travel with the guests. Therefore, here the only honest transition a seeker can make. If the I cannot be found as any object at all, then the only way to know I is to rest as the subject before objects, to cease chasing proofs, and to let being be its own evidence. Be still and know that I am God. Not be still and find a position in the head. Not be still and polish the chest. Be still and know. In that stillness, the trap of localization springs open of itself. The witness stands where no map can reach. And there, without boundary and without effort, The simple awareness you are announces itself not by sound, not by sight, but by the quiet fact of being, absent from the body, present with the Lord. Remain there and let the next breath, the next thought, the next sensation come and go while you do not come and go. Then we can speak honestly of life, not as a place and matter, but as the light by which all places are known. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Now let us be simple and honest with the thing we have been calling me. What is it in actual experience? If you close the eyes and remove the labels, you will find a field of perception. Pressure here, warmth there, a tingling at the fingertips, a tightness across the brow, the soft weight of cloth, the rhythm we call breath, the image we call face when a mirror is brought to mind. This tapestry appears in awareness. It is real as experience. It is present as sensation, as picture, as meaning. But notice, you are the one to whom these come. They arrive, they alter, they pass, you remain. The body is real as experience. The experiencer is not contained inside the experience. We have been taught to look for our identity in the sum of these reports. But tell me, where in the tingling will you find the taster of tingling? Where in the image will you find the seer of the image? Bring me the feeler of feeling, not the feeling. Bring me the knower of breath, not the breath. No surgeon has ever yet found any me inside of a body. They have searched the skull, they have found brain, they have examined the chest, they have found heart and lung, they have traced the nerves and counted the cells. They have not found you. The spirit quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The flesh has its order and its usefulness, but the life of it, the life of you, is not a piece to be weighed or caged in a lobe. But one will say, the brain generates consciousness. Look at the scans. See how the lights dance when you think. And I answer gently, what is it that knows there is a scan? What is it that beholds color, shape, inference, concept? Brain is a word, an image, a set of sensations and ideas known within awareness. Even the thought brain generates appears where? In the one who knows the thought. You are prior to the concept of brain. You are the light in which the notion of cause and effect shows itself. If you make the lamp the author of daylight, you will mistake the instrument for the sun. In engineering, you know this truth by another name. If you stand over a blueprint, you can locate dimensions, call out tolerances, calculate loads. You can find the bearing walls and the piping runs. You cannot find the builder living inside the drawing. Confuse the blueprint with the builder, and the house will be raised with errors, for you have taken symbol as source. The body is a marvelous plan, a drawing in living tissue, an exquisite instrument. But the one who knows it, the one by whom it is animated, is not drawn upon the page. The life is more than meat, and the body is more than raiment. More, the more is the one beholding. Therefore do not despise the body. Do not neglect it and do not worship it. Bathe it, feed it, rest it, mend it when it is torn, as you would tend a faithful tool kindly, without superstition. But remove it from the pedestal of identity. In quiet, let sensations come and go, and watch how the awareness that knows them neither comes nor goes. This is not philosophy. It is the simple seeing of what is. When pain arises, there is the report. When pleasure arises, there is the report. Neither pain nor pleasure can contain you. You are the one to whom the report is made. Whither shall I go from thy spirit, or whither shall I flee from thy presence? Presence is the constant, reports are the weather. And so the question naturally opens before us. If the body is appearance within awareness, what then is life itself? What is this animating presence by which the senses sense and the mind thinks? Not a force captured in marrow, not a spark trapped in tissue, but the very I that is before flesh and yet shines through flesh as a musician through a violin. I and my Father are one, not two, one. Life is not proved by measuring an instrument. Life is the music itself, recognized in the instant you cease hunting for the player in the wood and rest in the hearing. Be still long enough, and you will find there is no distance between the knower and the known of God. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. In that grace, the body can be kindly cared for, but you will no longer ask it to certify your being. Life will reveal itself, not as a condition of matter, but as the very awareness in which all conditions appear and disappear. Listen closely now, for this does not come with trumpet or proof text or laboratory seal. It comes as what you are. The only proof that cannot be doubted is that awareness is. Before any argument, before any heartbeat, before any scripture reaches the ear, there is the simple, quiet fact that knowing is present. Try to doubt it, and you find that the doubt itself must be known. Try to deny it, and the denial must appear to it. Awareness is not something you can set outside yourself to inspect, for it is the very light by which inspecting is possible. I am is the name of being, not the autograph of a mortal organism. Be still and know that I am God. Be still, not as a trick to produce evidence, but as the resting in the only evidence that ever was, the immediate presence that knows. Do you see the circle we have been running? You say, I will prove life by measuring breath. But who recognizes the meter, the measure, the number, awareness? You say, I will prove life by noting thought. Who notes? Awareness. I will prove life by feeling the pulse. Who feels? Awareness. Every proof you offer must first come before the court of the very awareness that asks for proof, and if the court did not stand, no witness, no exhibit, no verdict could ever appear. Therefore, awareness does not stand as a witness about life. Awareness stands as life's own self-evidence. No certificate can add to it. No absence of certificate can subtract from it. In him we live and move and have our being, not in forms, in the one being that is now knowing itself as I. Let me say it plainly and let it sink beneath thinking. Life is not a possession to be guarded like coin in a purse. Life is presence always already here, never arriving, never departing, the very now that is seeing, hearing, being. When you rest even a breath's width from seeking, the heart quietly confesses, I have been looking for the sun with a lantern at noon. The light by which I looked was the thing I sought. I and my Father are one, not a hopeful two trying to become one being recognizing itself. That recognition is not accomplished by the brain nor limited by the skull. It is not the achievement of a clever self. It is grace always here, ever sufficient, announcing itself where demand falls silent. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Do not let the mind demand fireworks. Do not let it bargain for guarantees. The quiet proof is not a performance. It is a presence. It does not shout. It does not argue. It does not need to be persuaded to be what it is. If you close your eyes now or keep them open, it makes no difference. You will notice that the awareness by which you read, by which you listen, by which you breathe, is unlabored, unprovable by anything outside itself. And yet it alone allows any outside to appear at all. When the senses sleep, it remains. When thoughts change, it remains. When the body ages, it remains. Jesus Christ the same yesterday and today and forever. That is the changelessness of life, mirrored in this undying, unbordered awareness that says simply, I am. And now the only honest question ripens, and we will meet it together. What is the nature of this awareness that is so irreducibly here? Is it personal, owned, local, partial, behind two eyes and subject to weather? Or is it divine, non-local, indivisible, the very presence that names itself I am and fills all in all? We do not answer with theory. We move as we have learned into the stillness where proof is not sought and recognition dawns. For in that dawning comes the click, and with it the end of striving. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. Until then, let this be your quiet password as you turn within. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. And rest, for life is not an argument to be won. Life is the awareness by which all arguments come and go, and it is here, absent from the body, and to be present with the Lord. Let us understand what this actually means, lest the mind run off with phantoms. It does not mean a flight out of flesh, nor a contempt for flesh, nor a trance in which you abandon the duties of ordinary love. It means freedom from the belief that identity is flesh-bound. It means you no longer squeeze infinity into a rib cage and call it I. You cannot leave the body because you are not in it. You are not in the physical. The body is an appearance within awareness. Awareness is not an appearance in the body. Now, be careful here. Absent from the body is not dissociation, not negligence. Do not neglect the instrument. Care for it wisely. Bathe it, feed it, clothe it, rest it. Render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God's. Tending the body belongs to Caesar, daily order, cleanliness, kindness. Identity belongs to God. Non-local, I frees you from fear and superstition regarding flesh. It does not free you from love's simple courtesies. If you are cold, put on a coat. If you are ill, be tender. But do not make the coat your identity, nor the report of illness a verdict upon life. The eye that knows these reports is untouched. Let me set a boundary with you, and I set it in love. This is not about astral projection, not about psychic display, not about manipulating distance or trying to be in two rooms at once. Never. Not a bit. Do not tamper with a cosmic law. It is impersonal, and when used for display or gain, it turns like a double-edged sword. As ye sow, so shall ye reap. You cannot hitch omnipresence to a private chariot. Thou shalt have no other gods before me, including the God of phenomena. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, not the fireworks of sense. I am merely the instrument. God is the actor, and when the actor moves, there is harmony without our interference. What then is non-local? Not a trick of distance, not a special talent. It is the recognition that consciousness is not confined to form. Try this now and let it settle. Close the eyes, if you will. Notice a sensation in the hand, a hum, a warmth, a texture. Remove the label, hand and thought. Let there be merely sensation. See how it appears, brightens, dims, disappears. Now ask gently, where is awareness? Is it in the sensation, or is the sensation in awareness? You will find you cannot place awareness inside the ripple. The ripple is within the sea of knowing. Open the eyes. The room appears in awareness. Close them. Images appear in awareness. Thoughts, sounds, breaths, each arrives and departs in the same open presence. Whither shall I go from thy spirit, or whither shall I flee from thy presence? There is no outside to. That non-local I means this. The center has no circumference. The one that says I here is the same. One that says I everywhere, not multiplied, not divided. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, not parcel to persons, but held in one indivisible life. Therefore we approach reverently. Take the shoes of presumption from off your feet, for the ground of awareness on which you stand is holy. Do not clutch at it. Do not boast of it. Do not attempt to use it. Yield to it. Be still and know that I am God. In my conscious oneness with God, I find my safety, my guidance, my sufficiency. And so our prayer ceases to be a demand and becomes a recognition. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. In that grace we are absent from the body in belief, present with the Lord in truth, and the body itself is quietly blessed without being made a god. Let us be very simple now and do the one thing that opens the door without fanfare. Sit in a chair, one low enough that the thighs are easy, not cutting into you, with a back that supports without pushing you, erect like a soldier. Place the feet on the floor. Let the hands rest lightly in the lap or on the thighs. Never clutch, never prop, never strain. If there is a cushion for the small of the back, use it. If a shawl keeps you warm, take it. There is no occult reason for any posture, none at all, only one of physical comfort, so that the body does not intrude. We are removing the body from thought without removing care. Close the eyes, not as a ritual, but to ease the turning within. Now let the shoulders drop. Let the jaw unhook. Let the breath do what it has always done without your management. No counting, no holding, no arranging. Be still. Listen. No reaching, no forcing. In this position, with the eyes closed, be virtually unaware of having a body. If a pressure is there, let there be pressure. If a warmth is there, let there be warmth. If a tingle is there, let there be tingle. Remove the labels in thought. Do not say hand, do not say knee, do not say back. Let there be only sensation appearing, brightening, dimming, disappearing. You are not to push it away, and you are not to follow it. You are the awareness to which it comes. Be still and know that I am God. We do not enter this silence to understand that. Not to get peace. Not to get healing. Not to get proof. Not even to get God. Desirelessness is the key that does not scrape the lock. If a desire comes, set it quietly at the door. Take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink. Seek not things, seek God alone, not seeking a sensation of God, not seeking a picture of God, simply resting in the fact that awareness is, and that God is the very life of this awareness. Be still. Listen. No reaching. No forcing. As you rest, thoughts may parade, let them. Sounds pass, let them. The rhythm called breath goes on, let it. You need not push a single thing away. You need only refuse to make a god of any of it. Thou shalt have no other gods before me, not even the God of a quiet mind, not even the God of a warm heart. If a thought says, this is not working, let that thought pass like a sparrow across the sky. If another says, I am getting close, let that pass too. No, no. We are not getting close to that which is already here. We are letting effort fall away so that may announce itself. At times, and it may be now or later, there comes a soft recognition, a shift without fireworks. The room, the thoughts, the body sense seem to be resting in a presence rather than you resting in them. It is as if the center has no circumference. There is a rightness that requires no argument. The will goes quiet. The breath seems to be breathed. The listening listens of itself. This is what I call the click. Do not try to hold it. Do not try to reproduce it. Do not name it. My sheep hear my voice. And in that hearing there is no personal achievement, no merit badge. It is the Father announcing himself as the only I. I am merely the instrument. God is the actor. Remain a little while in this uncovered ease, 1 minute or 10. The clock is not the master. When attention wanders to the body, simply remove the label again and return to the quiet receptivity. Be still. Listen. No reaching, no forcing. If a word must be used to anchor you, let it not be a demand, but a recognition. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Breathe it without owning it. Let it breathe you. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Then, when you open the eyes, do not break the thread. Rise gently. Care for the instrument as love would wash the cup. Answer the letter. Keep the appointment, but do not return the body to the pedestal of identity. We did not use the body to find life. We let life reveal itself where the body was set aside in thought. And in that revelation, guidance appears without strain, peace without purchase, healing without manipulation. In Him we live and move and have our being. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. Let this be your password as you go, and let it be enough. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Now, there are moments, and you will not schedule them, and you will not purchase them, when the silence you have consented to becomes aware of itself. You are no longer thinking about God. You are resting as the awareness by which God is known. It is not a leap. It is not an attainment. It is the simple sliding of attention from the content to the light. There is a quiet certainty here, a soft completeness, as if the question mark in the heart has straightened into a period without any hand touching it. Not excitement, not spectacle, a kind of holy obviousness. Be still and know that I am God. Not be still and have a feeling. Be still and know. That is the click. In that instant, and it may last a breath or it may broaden like dawn, the performer ego lays down its instrument. The inner stagehand that has been moving scenery, tugging ropes, signing contracts with destiny, sits down and ceases from its labor. I hear within me the Master's word. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father that dwelleth in me, He doeth the works, and I know the truth of it. I am merely the instrument. God is the actor. God is the doer and the beer. When the click comes, there is no zeal to accomplish, no itch to demonstrate. There is a resting as that which accomplishes of itself, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. How shall you recognize it without mistaking it for an emotion? You will notice the absence of bargaining. You will notice the end of argument. You will not be measuring your breath, testing your pulse, searching the skin for signs. You will be the very aliveness by which all signs are known. The compass needle of attention, which had been whirling after proofs, settles unerringly to God. There is a sufficiency that requires no exhibit. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Not as plea, but as fact, the mind would ask, can I keep it? No, no. Do not try to keep what never arrived. Let it be what it is, self-evident. Life moving as you without your pushing. This, my dear friends, is the deeper answer to the dare we made at the beginning. Prove you are alive without pointing to your body. In the click, life recognizes itself, independent of any bodily reference. There is no glance to the wristwatch of time, no hand to the mirror of appearance. In Him we live and move and have our being. Life proves itself by being itself. The courtroom of sense is adjourned. The verdict stands before any witness is called. You do not prove the sun with a candle. You open the shade. In that opening, the light needs no advocate. I and my Father are one. Do not imagine that this ends in passivity. When the actor moves, movement occurs. When the light shines, the next step is illuminated often the small, faithful thing, a phone call made in love, a task done quietly, a forgiveness offered 70 times 7, including to yourself. But watch the difference. There is no frantic self on the throne. There is obedience. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. The instrument does not select the score, it yields to the music. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. And in that oneness, action is right action, not personal display. Here, then, a gentle boundary appears, and let it appear with moral weight. The moment you sense the ease, the sufficiency, the absence of striving, you may be tempted to use it to hurry outcomes, to nudge people, to collect proofs like souvenirs. Never, not a bit. Do not try to use God. Spiritual law is not a tool for the personal will. It is a principle to be obeyed. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. The instant you make a god of result, of power, of phenomena, you turn from the source and you sharpen a double-edged sword against yourself. As ye sow, so shall ye reap. Do not tamper with a cosmic law. We will speak more of this, but let its edge be felt now, lest fascination lead you astray. For the present, rest in the non-spectacular holiness of the click. Let it teach you that the toppling of personal striving is not defeat, it is deliverance. I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. Feel the unargumentative, yes, that remains when effort stops claiming authorship. From this, yes, prayer is no longer request but recognition. Practice is no longer method but consent. Living is no longer survival but transparency. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Whisper it if you must, or let it whisper you. And as this grace abides, you will find that aliveness is not proved by pulse or pageant, but by the unbroken presence that says only, I am. Let us give this a firm place in consciousness. There is a law here, and it is not personal. It is impersonal, exact, operating, whether you know it, like it, or argue against it. 2 times 2 is 4, always. You may deny it, your denial does not bend the principle. If an engineer violates tensile strength, he does not offend a moody deity. He meets the inevitable result of ignoring what is. If you run a red light in the night when no police are watching, the light does not punish. But you may meet head-on the consequence of defying order, and you will meet it in metal and bone. It is the same with cosmic law. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. This is not threat, it is description. The law is the nature of being. Obedience is harmony with what is. Violation is collision with what is. Therefore, hear this warning not as thunder but as mercy. Any attempt to use spiritual realization for personal advantage violates the law and carries its own penalty. Do not try to use God. Never, not a bit. The instant you say, I will take this light and secure for myself a better station, a safer body, a fuller purse, an upper hand, you have set up another God. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. You have taken the impersonal grace that reveals itself as sufficiency, and you have harnessed it to private will. The harness will burn your hands. It will return as confusion, as conflict, as fear, not because God retaliates, but because you have departed from the nature of God, which is love. As ye sow self-advantage, manipulation, display, so shall ye reap, a tightening of self, a fog of thought, a loneliness that no proof can comfort. Do not tamper with a cosmic law. It is a double-edged sword. Understand how subtle idolatry can be. An idol is not only a carved image, it is any concept you place before the One. Body can be an idol, youth, health, image. Status can be an idol, reputation, influence, the right circle. Intellect can be an idol, cleverness, argument, spiritual vocabulary. Even proof can be an idol, collecting demonstrations to prove to yourself or to others that you have found the key. No, no. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. The moment you seek the added things, you have lost the kingdom in thought, and the things themselves grow thorn. When you seek God alone, when you rest in the realization that life is its own evidence, then the things take their rightful place, useful, not worshipped, cared for, not clutched. The two great commandments are not religious slogans, they are universal law. Thou shalt have no other gods before me, is the law of reality recognizing itself as one. And thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself is the inevitable action of that one as relationship. It is not a moral chore. It is the way being behaves when it knows itself. For if I am not in the physical, if my conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea, then my neighbor is not other. He is the same life appearing there. I cannot injure you without injuring my own awareness of God. I cannot manipulate you without slicing the very instrument through which grace would flow. With what measure ye meet, it shall be measured to you again. This is mathematics, not mood. You violate 2 times 2 is 4, and you have brought the wrath of the principle of mathematics upon you, not anger, but inexorable result. So with love ye meet ye, and love returns clarity, peace, sufficiency. Let this steady you. The non-local I is not a private escape route. It does not grant you the privilege of absence from responsibility. It frees you for presence as love. When you are no longer trying to prove aliveness by pointing to a body, you no longer try to protect aliveness by pushing other bodies around. Non-local I expresses as integrity, as non-interference, as the refusal to make a God of outcome. The actor acts, the instrument consents. In practice, this appears as transparency, honest work, quiet service, clean motives, a turning away from influence and toward blessing. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law. And so we return to the only safe password. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Speak it not to get sufficiency, but to remember that grace alone is sufficiency. Then you will not be tempted to seize power. You will not be tempted to hoard proofs. You will obey the law by loving, and the law will manifest as harmony without your managing it. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. Therefore, I cannot take from you, I cannot use you, I cannot press you into my plan. I can only rest in the One and let the One be itself as us. And in that obedience, fear loosens, confusion clears, and the flow resumes, grace upon grace, without manipulation, without display, without another God. Now, I must say something that may disappoint the part of you that wants steps, plans, and guarantees. I never give human advice. Not because I lack concern, not because I am hiding wisdom, but because advice so often smuggles personal will under the robe of guidance. Advice manipulates outcomes. Revelation illumines being. Advice tries to steer people and events. Grace reveals what God is already being. If I were to outline your life from my opinion, marry this one, take that job, move to that city, I would make myself an idol and set you beneath it. Thou shalt have no other gods before me, not even the God of a persuasive counselor. I am merely the instrument. God is the actor. Do you see the danger? The moment I take your hand inwardly and push, think this thought, hold that image, send this force, I have entered mental interference. Never Not a bit. Do not tamper with consciousness as if it were clay for your clever fingers. The law is impersonal, not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. To project pictures at a neighbor, to fix a spouse in imagination, to banish symptoms by will, is to set up a private altar to control. You will reap its harvest tension, backlash, isolation, for with what measure ye mete, it shall be measured to you again. Love does not push, love beholds. Love consents to God's government. When you come to me, I will not tell you, turn right, turn left, say yes, say no. That is not my work. My work is to be so still that the Father within reveals himself as the only mind present, and in that light each one sees, I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. True help is not the pressure of my thought upon your life. It is the absence of my thought as authority, so that the presence may announce itself where both of us have laid down our maps. We do not outline, we do not bargain, we do not reach for signs. We wait in receptivity until the click comes, and with it, unargued rightness. This is the same dare with which we began, turned now upon the will. Prove you are alive without pointing to a body, yes, and prove you are guided without pointing to a plan. The ego wants better arguments, more impressive reasons, proof that tomorrow is secured. No, no. Yield the idol of personal control. Be still and know that I am God. The knowing will not come as a spreadsheet. It arrives as peace that does not consult circumstances, as a quiet directive that requires no trumpet. When God is the actor, the human will steps back and blessing occurs without manipulation. You may ask, but what if a decision must be made? Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, do the simple, honest thing that love would do today, and render unto God what is God's, the authorship. Sit in the silence we have practiced. Remove the body from thought. Refuse the theater of outcomes. Whisper, not to get an answer, but to remember sufficiency. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Then rise, and let the next evident step present itself. It will, and it will not carry the taste of push. It will carry the quiet flavor of obedience. I set this boundary because I have seen what happens when people try to use God. The double-edged sword returns upon the user. But when we refuse interference, no mental pushing, no psychic display, no human advice, the sword becomes the plow that turns the soil of consciousness, and peace springs where there was anxiety. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Not stand still and see the scene we demanded. Stand still and see the presence that governs all scenes. In that stillness, a strange fruit grows. Sufficiency without possession, guidance without control, peace that does not wait for the body to be young, the account to be large, or the circumstances to bow. It is the fruit of non-interference, the fragrance of oneness recognized. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. And so I do not move you, I do not move myself, I consent to be moved. And in that consent, life proves itself again as grace, and grace proves itself again as enough. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Let us speak plainly, because the heart already knows the word I am about to say and has been trembling before it, deaf. What if the body stopped? What if the breath thinned to nothing? If the pulse went quiet? If the eyes did not open again? Would I be ended? That is the fear, and I will not decorate it. I will not insult grief with slogans. There is a weight here, a chill upon the nerves, because the body belief is certain that if its tent falls, the dweller is lost. Hear me in love. Mortality terrifies the body belief, but the one who beholds that terror is not made of nerves. We must be exact with our terms, or fear will borrow our vagueness. The body as instrument can cease its functions. That is a fact of appearance. The lungs move, and they may cease to move. The heart contracts and relaxes, and it may cease to contract and relax. Cells divide, and they may cease to divide. Fact. But now notice the sly step the mind takes. It says, therefore the eye ceases. That is not a fact. That is an assumption. It presumes that awareness is a product of function, as if the flicker on the bulb manufactures electricity. No, no. The bulb shines because of current. The current is not the bulb. You cannot prove aliveness by pointing to the bulb. You must acknowledge the light that illumines the bulb. Come with me into a simple experiment, and do not force it. Let it show you what it will. Close the eyes, or half close them if you wish, and do as we have practiced. Remove the labels. Do not say hand. Do not say breath. Do not say thought. Be still. Listen. Be still, and know that I am God. Before a thought names itself, is awareness present? Yes. When a thought arrives, bright, dull, anxious, sweet, does awareness become larger or smaller? No. The thought changes, the awareness does not. When the thought dissolves, is the awareness gone? No. The stage is emptied. The space remains. Now a sound comes, distant traffic, a bird, my voice. It appears within awareness. It does not carry awareness on its back. It fades, awareness abides. Now notice a gap, a soft nothing between two thoughts. The gap is not death. The gap is uncluttered presence. That presence is the I that never entered a thought and never leaves when a thought ends. This is what is meant by absent from the body, and to be present with the Lord. Do not make of it a romance with endings. Do not seek endings. Never, not a bit. It is not morbid fascination. It is identity correction. It means that in our awareness now, before any tale of time, we discover a life that is not paced by heartbeat, not licensed by lungs, not canceled by a stopped clock. I am the resurrection and the life. Resurrection is not a date on a calendar. It is the eternal rising of life from within, itself unborrowed, unthreatened, unproven by flesh. Does this deny the tenderness of human loss? No. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's funerals, tears, embraces, the washing of dishes in a silent house. Love does not stiffen its lip against sorrow. Love walks with those who mourn. But render unto God what is God's identity. Do not lay the eye upon a gravestone. Do not bend reality to the rumor that life began with a cry and will end with a sigh. God is not the God of the dead, but of the living. In him we live and move and have our being, not for a span, but as being. So when the fear rises, what if it all stops? Do not argue with it. Sit down in the quiet. Remove the body from thought without removing care. Notice that awareness is present before the fear, during the fear, after the fear. It is not bruised by dread, not improved by courage. It simply is, and in that isness there comes, often gently, the click, the unargued, knowing that I am not in the physical. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. The dare we made at the beginning is answered here, not by future theories about death, but by present recognition of life. Life proves itself as the awareness that knows all proofs and needs none. Carry this not as a talisman, but as a truth discovered. If the body stopped, God would not. If the body stopped, life would not. The awareness by which you hear these words is not a glow on meat. It is the presence by which meat appears and disappears without touching the eye. Do not attempt to use this to play with danger. Do not neglect the instrument. Bathe it, feed it, guard it wisely. But do not make it your God. Let the password keep you steady in the night hours when fear visits. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Not the grace of a future rescue, the grace of the life that is now, unmade by matter, unended by time. Be still and know. And in that knowing, the chill at the door loosens its grip, and sufficiency returns not as argument, but as presence. Let us settle the dare now, not with argument, but with the only proof that convinces experience. Be still, not as a trick, as fidelity to what is already present. Close the eyes if that eases you, or let them rest softly, half open. Remove the labels. Do not say hand. Do not say breath. Do not say thought. Let sensations arise as weather. Let sounds come as birds over a field. Notice, before any of it is named, that knowing is here. There is an awareness that does not begin when a sound begins and does not end when a tingling ends. That awareness is not looking for proof. It is the light by which proofs are seen. Now ask, quietly, without strain, where is the I that knows this? Can you put a finger on it? Can you find it behind the eyes or inside the chest? Anything you can point to is not the I that is pointing. No. The witness is not inside what is witnessed. Here the conclusion dawns without rhetoric. I am not in the physical. No. Life is not in matter. The life was the light of men. The light is not in the lamp. The lamp appears in the light. Your pulse may quicken or slow. Your aliveness neither quickens nor slows, because it is not a rhythm, it is presence. In him we live and move and have our being. Not we live in vessels of flesh and then import God like air. We live and move in God, and the vessel is a passing utility. This is not contempt for the instrument, it is recognition of the music. The instrument sounds, it rests, it may crack, it may be repaired. The music remains unharmed, unexhausted, unprovable by strings. What then is alive? Do not confine it to warm blood and measurable breath. This is life eternal, that they might know thee, the only true God. To be alive is to be consciously one with the source of life here and now. When the mind demands exhibit A, exhibit B, turn it to the only courtroom that matters, the present I that knows the demand. That I is not born of bone. That I does not enter or leave a room. I and my Father are one. To be alive is to be that oneness consciously realized, even if for a breath, even if as a quiet knowing without fireworks. In that recognition, the word life ceases to be a biological brag. It becomes a holy obviousness. Make this practical. When stress rises, when the body shouts its headlines or the world waves its notices in your face, stop. Do not consult the mirror. Do not check the dials. Return to the witness. Be still. Listen. No reaching. No forcing. Notice that awareness is present before the stress, during the stress, after the stress. Wait not for sensation, but for the click, the soft shift in which attention rests as the knower rather than chasing the known. Whisper if you must, not as plea but as recognition. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Then move only as love moves you. Take no thought for your life does not mean neglect. It means refuse to enthrone circumstance as God. The throne belongs to the one who is your very life. And because this is not a stunt but a way of living, let the proof ripen into conduct. The awareness that proves itself as life will not use life It will not manipulate outcomes. It will fulfill the law as love quietly, honestly, without display. Render unto Caesar the simple duties of the day, emails, meals, mending, and render unto God the authorship of being. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. Therefore, I cannot fear you, cannot envy you, cannot use you. In my oneness with God, I find my completeness. In my oneness with God, I find my security. In my oneness with God, I find my peace. The dare is answered every hour you consent to live this way. You prove you are alive by recognizing again and again the living awareness that knows all proofs. And when the night is long or the heart forgets, return to the password that does not bargain but beholds. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Take this with you, as breath is taken quietly, constantly, without display. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Not as charm, not as bargain, not as a little engine to pull blessings in your direction, as truth recognized. Whisper it upon waking before the day tells you its weather. Whisper it between emails when the mind begins to count and compare. Whisper it in the market when prices rise and in the doctor's office when numbers are read. Whisper it at the sink, at the steering wheel, in the waiting room, in the hallway outside, the hard conversation. Make of it a settled inner posture so that before you have reached for a proof, grace has already declared itself as enough. Pray without ceasing is not a marathon of words. It is a steady remembrance of the one. Let the litany of oneness carry you from mood to motive. In my oneness with God, I find my completeness, so I do not grasp. In my oneness with God, I find my security, so I do not compete. In my oneness with God, I find my peace, so I do not fear. In my oneness with God, I find direction, so I do not hurry. In my oneness with God, I find supply, so I do not scheme. In my oneness with God, I find companionship, so I do not use you to soften my loneliness. In my oneness with God, I find courage, so I do not bluff. In my oneness with God, I find rest, so I do not perform. Let this not be poetry alone, let it be policy. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. The mind of oneness lives as sufficiency. It has nothing to defend. Watch how ordinary hours change when the non-local I is your identity. There is less intrusion because you do not need to fix anyone to feel safe. There is less judgment because you are not measuring bodies to prove your own. There is more cooperation because love recognizes only its own life wherever it looks. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself ceases to be a task and becomes recognition. There is one life, one law, one light appearing as many faces. The impulse to push dissolves. The inclination to bless remains. Render unto Caesar with simplicity. Do the chore, pay the bill, keep the appointment without drama or dread. Render unto God the authorship of being. God is the actor and the doer and the beer. I am merely the instrument. And the instrument, kept clean of will and fear, sounds the music without strain. If you notice, the old reflexes return, the hand reaching for outcomes, the mind drafting arguments do not scold. Sit a moment. Remove the body from thought without removing care. Return to the witness. Let the password return you to posture. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Not to make sufficiency arrive, but to admit it has never left. Often, in that very admission, the click comes again, sometimes small as a sigh, sometimes soft as a leaf touching a window, and you will know without evidence that life is present as awareness, and that awareness is you, not personal, not local, God as I. The kingdom of God is within you. Now the circle closes to the dare with which we began. Prove you are alive without pointing to your body. You have proved it by not proving it, by abiding as the life that knows every proof and needs none. You needed no wrist to count, no mirror to consult, no witness to swear. You rested in the witness itself. In him we live and move and have our being. The question collapses into the answer. I am not in the physical, absent from the body, present with the Lord. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. And when grace is your sufficiency, aliveness is no longer a question, it is your lived consciousness, the quiet way you walk, the gentle way you speak, the pure way you choose. So let us end as we mean to live, in consent. Be still and know. Yield the right to outline. Listen until the click replaces the clamor. Let the Father within do the work. Not I, but Christ liveth in me. I and my Father are one. In my oneness with God, I find my completeness, my security, my peace, my direction, my supply, my rest. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. And so it is.